study about proportion. A proportion is a two ratios that have been set equal to each other. I repeat again, a proportion is two ratios that have been set equal to each other. That is, here are two ratios, A is to B, another ratio is C is to D. If the ratio of A is to B is equals to C is to D, then it is called a proportion. Now, here A, B, C, D are called as the first, second, third and the fourth term. A is the first term, B is the second term, C is the third term and D is the fourth term. And here B and C are called the mean. B and C are called the mean, A and D are called the extremes. So, I give you another example here. 2 is to 3, if it is equals to 6 is to 9. You see here, two ratios, 2 is to 3, 2 and 3 are another ratio and 6 and 9 are another ratio. If this 2 is to 3 is equals to 6 is to 9, then they are in proportion. Here I can say that 6 is to 9 is equal to 2 is to 3. How can it be? Because we can reduce this 6 by 3, 3 to the 6, 3 3 is 9. So these kind of ratios are called as proportion. One of the property of proportion is that in proportion the product of the means is always equal to the product of the extremes. That is, when you multiply these two mean, okay, their product will be equal to the product of the two extremes. That is, for example, we have taken 25 is to 30 is one ratio, 48 is to 48 is another ratio. We are to say that whether 25 is to 30 is equal to the 40 is to 48. We are going to see that whether they are in proportion or not. If we are going to see that they are in proportion, then we must know that the product of the mean should be equal to the product of the two extremes. Let us see if now 30 into 40 is 1200. This is product of means. Now let us see the product of extremes. Product of extremes. Product of extremes is 25 into 48. So 25 into 48 is, so it is 1200. So we see here that the product of the means here is equal to the product of the extremes. Therefore, the given ratio is in proportion. Let us take some more examples that how to apply proportion in our day-to-day life. So here is one question. The cost of 5 kg of potatoes is rupees 125. What is the cost of 7 kg of potatoes at the same rate? So without applying unitary method, by applying the proportion method, we can find out the cost of 7 kg of potatoes. This is how we apply in our day-to-day life. So here we take it as 5 kg is to rupees 125 will be equals to 7 kg is to cost of potatoes. So we do not know what is the cost of potatoes here. So we know that 5 kg is 125, 7 kg will be how much? So we place it as 5, 125, 7 cost of potatoes. So we know that the product of the two means will be equal to the product of the two extremes. We know that the product of the two mean will be equal to the product of the two extremes. So here comes your product of the two mean is 125 into 7 is equals to product of the two extreme is 5 into cost of potatoes. So if we bring this 5 on this side, it will come here 125 into 7 by 5 is equals to cost of 7 kg potatoes. So here is 7 kg. So here, cost of the 7 kg potatoes. So here is 5, 2, 5. So it comes here 7 5s are 35, 3 in hand, 7 2s are 14, 14 plus 3 is 7. So 175 rupees is the cost of potatoes. Potatoes of 7 kg. So how much it cost? 7 kg potatoes cost 175. So in our day-to-day life, without applying the unitary method, just by applying proportion, we can find out the cost. If we know the cost of 5 kg potatoes, we can find out the cost of 7 kg potatoes by multiplying the two means, and by multiplying the two extremes, we can find out the required cost. Here cost of potatoes is rupees 175. So we are going to study now types of proportion. So in the types of proportion, we have continued proportion, mean proportion, and third proportion. So what is continued proportion? Say here A is to B is a ratio and B is to C is a ratio. So if A is to B is equals to B is to C, then it is called continued proportion. For example, here 4 is to 6 equals to 6 is to 9. So we will see that how they are continuing proportion. Here we see that you multiply this two term here, and then here you multiply it. So if you multiply the product of the two means, we see that product of two means equals to 36, and product of the two extremes is product of two extremes is 4 into 9. These two ratios are equal. Since these two ratios are equal, so here we see that the means are same. The mean are same. So therefore here B and B, the mean are same. So therefore this ratio is called continued proportion. That is, B is continuing here. Here B is continuing, here B is continuing. So this ratio is called as the continued proportion. Now we will study about the mean proportion. Now we shall study about the mean proportion. Here we will take example of A is to B is equals to B is to C. So here this is continued proportion. A is to B and B is to C. They are in continued proportion. But here B is called the mean proportion. B is called the mean proportion. Again I repeat here, A, B, C. If three terms or three quantities are in ratio, that is A is to B is equals to B is to C, then the mean is B is called the mean proportion. Now we will study about the third proportion. Now we will study about the third proportion. If A, B, C are in continued proportion, continued proportion, that is A is to B is equals to B is to C, then this C is called the third proportion. C is called the third proportion. Now we are going to begin exercise 8.3. In question number 1, it is said determine if the following are in proportion. So you are given four quantities here: 40, 50, 100, 125. You are going to see that whether they are in proportion or not. So let us keep all these four quantities in the form of ratio. 40 is to 50, 100 is to 125. Now, how we are going to check whether they are in proportion or not? The rule is that the product of the two mean should be equal to the product of the two extremes. So, product of two means is 50 into 100 is 5000. product of the two extremes is 40 into 125. So we see here that 40 into 125 is also 5,000. 50 into 100 is also, we get it, 5,000. So we see that the product of the two means is equals to the product of the two extremes. Therefore, we can say that the four quantities are in proportion. Similarly, we see here, though the two ratios here, cm, units are here same and units are here same, still we can consider that the ratio, these two ratios is equals to these two ratios. But we will see that whether they are in proportion or not. So 4 is to 8, 16 is to 32. So we will see that the product of the two means, that is 16 into 8, 4 into 32. So 4 2 is 8, 4 3 is 12, 8 6 is 48, 1 in hand, 4 in hand, 8 1 is 8, 12. So here we see that the product of the two means is 128 and the product of the two extremes is also 128. Therefore, we can consider that these ratios are also in proportion. Now question number C and question number D, you can do as your homework. In question number 2, you got to find A in each of the following proportion. Question number 1 is A is to 85 is equals to 57 is to 95. Here the same rule you got to follow. The rule is that the product of the two means will be equal to the product of the two extremes. That is, product of two means is equals to product of two extremes. So product of the two means is what? 85 into 57. What is the product of the two extremes? This is A into 95. So you have to find the value of A. So that is 85 into 57 by 95 is equals to A. So here 5 1s are 5, 5 9s are 45, 5 1s are 5, 5 7s are 35, 19 3s are 57. So 17 3s is 51. So what is the value of A? The value of A is 51. Similarly, like that here in question number B and D, you do it as your homework. So here we will see question number C. Same thing here in question number C also. Product of two extremes is equals to the product of two means. So what is the product of two extremes? That is 77 into 24. What is the product of two means? The product of two means is 12 into A. So we have to find the value of A. 7 into 24 by 12 is equals to A. So 12 2 is 24, 7 2 is 14. So the value of A is here 14. So question number 4, if the numbers 8, 6 and A are in continued proportion, find the value of A. So we are going to go back to continued proportion. What is continued proportion? So in we learned that if three quantities are given like this, A, B, C, then what will be the continued proportion? The continued proportion is A is to B will be equals to B is to C. The ratio of A and B, if it is equals to the ratio of B and C, then they are in continued proportion. So here three quantities are given, that is 18, 6 and 8. So how should we arrange to be in continued proportion? So if 18, 6 and A are in continued proportion, that is 18 is to 6 will be equals to 6 is to A. So the product of the two extremes that is 18 into A will be equals to 6 into 6. The product of the two extremes should be equal to the product of the two means. So therefore A equals to 6 into 6 by 18. So 6 3s are 18, 3 2s are 6. Therefore A is 2. So dear students, question number 5 is similar to the previous example which I have done for you. So you can do it, try it at home as your homework. Now question number 6, when you see the question is very big, do not get nervous, but be happy. You have enough time now in this pandemic period to read the questions at home. So here Tina is making pancakes. She needs 2 cups of batter to make 8 pancakes. So if Tina needs to make 1200 pancakes of the same size, how many cups of batter does she needs? We always find it very difficult to read long questions, but it is very easy to solve the long questions. I'll teach you how to solve this one. So the quantities, okay, you see the quantity. So what are the quantities given here? Cups, and then pancakes. So 2 cups can make how many pancakes? 8 pancakes. So how many cups will be required, saying how many cups? So we will take it as A. We do not know how many cups will be required. We can take it as X, we can take it as A, we can take it as B, anything. So how many pancakes is required to make? 1200. So ratio will be formed now here. So 2 is to 8. So here cup is 2, pancake is 8. So it should be in continued proportion. So how many cups required? A. How many pancakes already prepared? 1200. So we know that the product of the two means will be equal to the product of the two extremes. So product of two means is equals to product of two extremes. So product of two means is 8 into A. Product of two extremes is 2 into 1200. So A is 2 into 1200 by 8. So how many bet? 150 into 300. 150 into 2 is 300. So the required batter cups is 300 batter cups will be required to make 1200 pancakes.
Stay home, stay safe.
Do it for self.
Do it for your family. Do it for India.
Let's break the chain of COVID-19.
हम होंगे कामयाब, जय हिंद. हम होंगे कामयाब, जय हिंद.
हम होंगे कामयाब. जय हिंद.